Last Fist of Fury from 1977 is a movie that shouldn't be confused with First Fist of Fury, or more accurately, Fist of Fury, starring Bruce Lee. Now, this one's one of the plethora of Bruceploitation, Lee-alike kung fu movies that appeared hot on the heels of the unfortunate demise of the little dragon. This one's a Dragon Lee joint, and Dragon Lee's one of the lesser known Lee-alikes, but also one of the more interesting. Dragon Lee always reminds me a lot of Law, I think he was called, out of Tekken. I was a big Tekken fan back in the day, and Dragon Lee does bear more than a passing resemblance. But the plot of this one, the premise, should be familiar to all fans of Bruceploitation or just of 70s kung fu movies in general. So you have the nefarious Japanese karate school, and we know that they're nefarious because the leaders of this Japanese karate school mostly seem to have these little narrow Hitler moustaches. So you can tell they're up to no good. So they're muscling in on the local Chinese Jeet Kune Do or Kung Fu school, of course. And our hero, our main protagonist, Dragon Lee, is a student at the school. And the whole movie's basically the story of the intimidation of said Jeet Kune Do school. I think it's called the Dragon Academy or something generic like that, by the nefarious cult of Japanese karate students and their Hitler lookalike senseis. So as with all the best kung fu movies, it is a little light on plot, which is fine. Has some very cool weapons in this one, very bizarre weapons. There's these weird symbols, or they look like symbols, that one of the character uses. And naturally, Dragon Lee's able to catch one in his teeth, as was always the way with Bruceploitation. The best Bruceploitation movies, you'd often see Bruce catch things like knives in his teeth, and on occasion, even bullets, which was impressive. So we don't have bullets being caught in teeth in Last Fist of Fury, but we do have these weird symbol weapons. That's C-Y-M-B-A-L, not S-Y-M-B-O-L, although they probably are symbolic of something. But nevertheless, they are these bizarre symbol weapons that kind of look like something out of Master of the Flying Guillotine. So as you watch this particular Bruceploitation movie, something does feel amiss. It doesn't really look like China. I thought to myself, as someone that's visited both China and Korea in the past, it didn't so much look like China per se, as a lot of the Bruceploitation movies from this kung fu period did. It did look more like South Korea, or more specifically Seoul, and the some of the old heritage buildings around Seoul. So needless to say, this one was shot in South Korea with South Korean actors, and really does kind of pull the wool over your eyes in that regard. Usually Bruceploitation movies are just pulling the wool over your eyes in terms of trying to fool you into thinking that you're watching Bruce Lee, but this one does go the whole hog and fools you into thinking that you're watching Chinese kung fu superstars, but really you're watching Korean Taekwondo superstars, which is just fine by me. Big fan of Dragon Lee, the lookalike of Law out of Tekken. And so quite an interesting movie in that regard. It does have a different vibe to a lot of the Hong Kong Lee-alike movies, Hong Kong kung fu movies. Has a whole different atmosphere, different environment, different feel. This one also has a mysterious masked man, and the masked man isn't Rey Mysterio Jr. or the Lone Ranger, or even Orville Peck. This particular masked man is a white ninja. And this was the first movie that I've ever seen, I think, the first ninja movie or the first kung fu movie that was able to effectively demonstrate the benefits of a white ninja suit. You always see these movies and wonder why the hell you'd want to wear a white ninja suit, because they never seem to be wearing them in snow or any environment that would benefit such a wardrobe choice for your average ninja. But in this one, there is a scene where the masked man, the white ninja, is hiding in a tree against a very overcast sky. And I noticed when we visited South Korea, the sky was quite often overcast. And in that scene, you'll be quite amazed, but the white ninja's virtually invisible against that smog-ridden, overcast sky. So that solved the mystery of why white ninjas exist, which had never been fully explained to me. Usually in movies that do feature a ninja, the wardrobe choices don't make a great deal of sense in regard to the environment that they find themselves in. You'll see a snowy environment, for example, so blizzards and frost and snow-covered mountains, and invariably you'll see black ninja in those, in kung fu movies. And likewise, in a jungle environment, usually you'll see a white ninja, and they stick out like a sore thumb. And then you'll see camouflage ninjas in city environments. So quite often you'll see ninjas selecting their costume, their attire for the day in completely unsuitable fashion. And don't even get me started on red ninja. The only advantage I'd see for a red ninja suit would be an extremely bloodthirsty battlefield to not only avoid stains, but also to blend in with all the spouting, squirting geysers of blood, a la Shogun Assassin. So I thought I'd come out today, go for a bit of a ramble about Last Fist of Fury. It's not the most sophisticated of the Bruceploitation movies, but Dragon Lee's always fun to watch. His kung fu's definitely up to scratch, and the fight choreography is quite interesting in this one, probably due to the taekwondo elements look a little bit different to your average Bruceploitation epic. And the South Korean backdrop, the South Korean ancient villages and castles and ruins, add a bit of mystique to this one that you don't get in your average Hong Kong kung fu movie that are generally set in more contemporary locations or in more rural locations, I guess. Not taking as much advantage of this sort of stuff. Maybe they stole all these locations in these ruins. I definitely recognise some from right in the heart of Seoul in this movie. And I got quite a kick out of that. So, definitely not one of the better Bruceploitation movies, but quite interesting nonetheless. If you're trying to kill an hour and a half, you want something that's not too taxing, or if you're a Bruce Lee or Bruceploitation or Lear-like completist, then I'd highly recommend Last Fist of Fury, starring Dragon Lee from 1977. Certainly a a worthy imitator of Fist of Fury starring Bruce Lee. And no doubt Bruce would be either excitedly or angrily spinning in his grave at all of these imitators. But personally, I do think that imitation's the most sincere form of flattery. So it doesn't get any better in terms of flattery, I guess, than an entire exploitation movie genre building up around you. It's something that hasn't happened around other martial arts stars. Unfortunately, we don't see Chuck Norris lookalikes or Steven Seagal lookalikes, although I'd completely be down for that. And that could be a great avenue for independent film in 2026 to revive the whole Bruceploitation concept, and instead whack in these Chuck Norris or Steven Seagal or Jean-Claude Van Damme lookalikes. And preferably with some really ropey overdubbing. And Bob's your uncle for a recipe for 2026 exploitation movie success. So that's about all I've got. There wasn't a lot to say on Last Fist of Fury. It was a fairly pedestrian, Lear-like movie. So I realised that I went off on tangents, but tangents are always fun. And if you did enjoy this video, by all means, please like, share and subscribe. And I'm off to enjoy the rest of my evening. Hope you are as well. And until next time, take it very easy.